this week we're going to be talking about why focusing instead of worrying can help you.
Yeah, it can actually help a lot with anxiety.
It can help with anxiety, and it can also help you live more in the present moment. And that's what we all hope for, I think.
That is the only true moment. So listen to this
week's episode of
Get Real with the English Sisters.
Please do take a few minutes to subscribe and follow us on YouTube too, where you can actually see the video version.
Yay.
And it's all about focus. I mean, I think when I have anxiety and I've got like so many things to do, one thing that can really help is if I write them all down, like if I journal.
Really? Yeah.
If I write down all the things that are worrying me, and then I'll say, well, what's the worst thing that can happen if I don't do it? And when can I do these things? When can I address these things?
Yeah, sometimes just putting things down. Like I do it I actually write it on my phone, but yes, the same thing on notes.
Anywhere.
Yeah, writing it, yeah.
Write it down and then focus on it. So you're actually focusing on it.
So actually what about focusing on your anxiety is a bit, you can actually help you. If you focus on the anxiety.
Well, you focus on what's giving you the anxiety.
Right, yeah.
Seems difficult, doesn't it?
It does.
When your mind is like racing.
Yes, because you would think, I don't really want to focus on what's giving me the anxiety. I want to get away from it. So I think what you have to do is accept the fact that you are having anxiety. Over whatever it is that you've got to do. You accept that. And then you allow your brain, one part of your brain to focus on that while you keep the rest of your brain focused on other activities. It's like distraction, basically. You work, not worry through it.
What you do is you write it down. Say like if you're frightened of the dentist and you've got a dentist appointment tomorrow.
Right, yeah.
So you write it down and you say, I'm frightened of the dentist. What's the worst thing that can happen when I go to the dentist? Okay, he's going to give me a filling and I'm really scared. How can you deal with it? You can tell the dentist that you're frightened. Write it down. You can also ask the dentist for some anesthetic. Write it down.
Hopefully.
And then what's the worst outcome that can happen? The worst outcome maybe is I won't go to the dentist appointment or I'll run away. So you write that down.
Right, yeah.
And then you say, and what's the best outcome? The best outcome is that I tell my dentist he's a friendly dentist and he helps me, gives me anesthetic and he fixes my tooth that hurts.
Yes.
And then you look at that best outcome and you sit with it for a few minutes. The best thing is that he fixes my tooth and I come away happy
with a smile. Yeah, and no more pain
free. And then you take a deep breath. And then you instantly feel a lot calmer. And then you can focus on today. What do I have to do today? Today I have to do this. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, right, yeah. So it's a bit ironic, really, isn't it? Because you have to kind of focus on your anxiety, figure it out, sort of jumble it all out, and like all little pieces, it's all in there, and sort of write down the points that are making you anxious or nervous, same thing, and then try and work through them.
Because you would think, I'll push it to the back of my mind. Yeah. But that doesn't work because it's not at the back of your mind. It's at the front of your mind. And it's making your heart race and you're getting really anxious and nervous over it. So that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't, no.
No, but you would want to do that instinctively, I think.
What, to put it at the back of your mind?
Yeah, just put it away and get on with something else. But you can't because it's there all the time and it's making you anxious.
People do put things away for years.
Yeah, and that's why they're anxious for years.
Yeah, that are making them anxious and they hide them.
That's why it gets into chronic illnesses, chronic back pain, chronic this, chronic that.
Yeah, a lot of the times it can be due to some psychological factor, some form of anxiety that's keeping you tense.
Unfortunately, anxiety. Yeah. They say, how can anxiety give you, say, chronic backache? It's because when you're anxious, your whole body is tense.
That's right. It's not just your heart that might be beating faster, or your, the cortisol and all the hormones. It's also your posture, without you being aware of it, is tense.
Your breathing is tense.
And your muscles tense up. And that's why you can get sort of all body pain, joint pain.
If you do a test, if you just clench your fist and then release it, and then allow that relaxation to go right up your arm if you're not driving, and notice how much tension you've actually already held in that arm before, and how relaxed it now feels.
Yeah, that is so true. We're actually doing this now,
So even if we're
all holding tension, aren't we?
We're all holding tension. Because there's so much going on that it's just inevitable, I think, now. So I think the way to contradict this tension that we all have is to take minutes and time throughout your day to actually release the tension. You'll notice you probably have tension in your jaw.
Yeah, definitely.
At the top of your forehead, in your knees, everywhere really. And if you allow yourself to just go into the mindful moment,
focus on it and say, right, I'm going to focus on it now, and then allow yourself to gently release it.
Gently release it, and write down what you have to do and get things done if they're getting you tense.
Yeah, you're right about writing down. It seems banal.
Sometimes just admitting. Yesterday I admitted to my husband that a few things were making me tense, and he started laughing in a cute way.
Yeah, cute, because they were minor things.
He said, Violetta, you've always been like, why do these little silly things make me tense?
Yeah, it could be just like bureaucracy.
Yeah,
and,
like little bureaucratic things. Yeah,
done,
like doing little filling in forms, doing these silly little things that you would think.
Come on, I'm grown up, for goodness sake. I should be able to do this.
I've got to get this done.
Yeah, and you do it, but it still might give you anxiety.
Yeah, like phoning the gas people or something. I just don't like doing these things, but they're just stupid things that you would think, why?
Yeah, but they're not that stupid. They can get you nervous, things like that.
They can, but like another person would just say, what's the problem? Pick up the phone and phone them. Order it.
Because you had to order gas.
Yeah,
oh, right.
Not a big deal. You have to order the gas. It's an easy thing to do.
It does seem like an easy thing to do.
And I started thinking, what day should it come? We're not here, blah, blah, blah.
When are we here?
Yeah, I won't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. All these little silly things.
You tend to put off things like that. You do,
silly things.
Yeah, they really are silly. But there's nothing silly when it comes to how it makes you feel.
No. So if I write it down, I'm going to phone the gas. That's in the end what I did do. I said I'm going to phone the gas at the end of the month, so in the they come the next week.
Yeah.
But it's just, sometimes it can be things that you might think are like silly or banal or like irrelevant that actually are causing you anxiety. So just check these things off the list and do them, because it'll make you feel better afterwards. Even if you just write it down, you say, I'm going to do it on Wednesday or Thursday or now, you'll just see. And
put it in your calendar, I think.
Yeah, and actually, how many people actually have things that, because I'm aware of these things that cause anxiety. So, I talk about it and I verbalize it to myself and to whoever's there. So when it's relevant, and it takes the pressure off. It made me feel good when I told my husband,
because he said that's silly.
No, he didn't say that's silly. He said you've always been like that, but it's not a problem, darling. It's just it's just to have some
It'll be a problem if it was broken, the gas or something. But even then, no, that's what I mean.
Even then, if it is broken,
you have to deal with it.
Yeah, and if I said, look, I really don't want to do this, can you do it? He would have done it.
Yeah.
So I think when you tell people about your anxiety and what's making you anxious, and you tell yourself and you become aware of it, that's when all the healing starts, because that's when you can move on and, and address it.
What about when it's not just one thing, like when you've got lots of things, like your pipe might have broken and this might have happened
to you. You have to write it down, and you have to say, okay, this is making me anxious, this is making me anxious, this is making me anxious. how do I deal with it? What's the worst thing that happens if I can't deal with it? I have to be without water for 2 weeks, whatever. But,
Yeah, right.
But in the end, you're going to feel less anxious, and you'll put things into perspective, because anxiety is also fear that's gone out of perspective.
Yeah, it's gone out of focus, hasn't it?
Yeah, because we used to have fear and fear has
kept us safe.
Definitely, stopped us being run over by cars. It's this instant fear, but when it's something that's ongoing, it's not helpful.
It's not keeping us safe at all. It's doing quite the contrary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually...
It's keeping us on a state of alert, high adrenaline, high cortisol, not being able to sleep properly at night.
So you reckon just by simply writing things down, that could be, and focusing on the actual
and
anxiety.
Telling people as well. And if you can, tell someone, but otherwise just tell yourself. Because how many people are anxious? They might be grieving, and they don't know. I feel so anxious. And they don't know why. And they're actually grieving. If they wrote it down, I feel anxious. Why am I feeling anxious? And they say, oh, actually, I'm actually grieving at the moment. Could that be it? And then they could look into themselves. Yes, that's it. That's why I'm... sometimes it's not so obvious.
No, right. It's not a broken pipe, and it's not the gas man you have to call or whatever, or a surgery.
It might be that you're grieving someone or something, or that you're grieving, a loss, or even if something personal, like like yourself. Well, you might be grieving, like, for instance, if you can't have a child. You might be grieving that you can't have a child, that the doctors have told you can't have children.
Absolutely.
Something like that. Or that you might be grieving that you're not as
healthy
fit
as you
and healthy as you were 10 years ago.
Right, yeah.
And not, the fact that you're grieving this, it means you're not accepting it. And when you don't accept something, you don't take the time to accept it, you can't get over it.
No, you're right. That is so true. Yeah, absolutely. So writing it down, thinking about it, and trying to figure it out, sort of untangling it a little bit. Yeah, and thinking of what the worst outcome is and what the best outcome is. And I suppose seeing it with a bit of pinch of humour as well.
Humour always helps.
Humour really does help. And that's probably the secret, isn't it? To try and keep anxiety at bay and focus on it.
Yes, and obviously there's all the mindful techniques you can do, and the hypnosis and everything. But
to stay in the present moment.
To stay in the present moment and focus on today, and that really helps. You take a deep breath, you focus on the now, you focus on what's outside your window, you take a few minutes to meditate. I don't know who was saying it, but someone was saying that the best way to really relax is like if you're on the train, put your phone away and look out the window.
Yeah,
and
simple as that.
Don't do anything. Or just that when you're at work, just put your phone away, look out the window for a few minutes and just observe.
Just observe, whatever it is that's there, the passers-by, the nature, the trees, whatever it is, because that does bring you back into the moment. That's life that's going outside, that's happening outside of the window, and it's going on right now. So it's present right now. The person walking by is happening right now. So it brings you back into what's happening right now.
Because the past is the past and it doesn't exist.
And the future we don't know.
Doesn't exist.
But we do know that somebody's walking by right now.
Exists.
Yeah, that today and what we're doing right now does exist.
And the joy that we can get from today exists.
Absolutely.
Okay, let us know what you think. If you think, try it. Write it down. What's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
What's the best outcome? And then I'm sure you'll feel a lot more relaxed and happy.
Absolutely.
Lots of love and smiles from
the English sisters. Bye-bye.